The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is brought to you by the host of the program, who is solely responsible for its content.
Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, in with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you.
We have with us Jane Rissy, Greenhouse Director of the Greenhouse Project. Hello. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Nice to talk to you all.
Thank you for calling in and being our special guest this week, 2 weeks in a row. We appreciate your time, Jane. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors who have been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for nearly 50 years.
Wow, 50 years. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you visit jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab. It's one of the tabs at the top of the page. And we have a camera on top of the building, and you get a view of the corners and see what's going on.
We're all over social media, so check us out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobilefriendlyjruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Okay, before we start our discussion with Jane, I want to talk about what's different. There's a lot of guidelines in real estate now that we're reopened and we're considered, again, essential, which I don't ever think that we weren't essential, but we weren't able to work at one point. But now that we're working, we have to adhere to certain guidelines, and I want our listeners to be aware of those. So no matter who you are, you call us, we have to you're a client of ours, we have to give a verbal health screening. There are some companies and sellers that require, and buyers that require that health screening to be in writing. Also, there's additional COVID-19 forms, there are property access forms that may be required to be signed and submitted to listing agents before a showing is scheduled. Also, a lot of sellers and listing agents are requiring a pre-approval letter recently dated. So it can't be dated back in December of 2019 or even January, February, March of 2020. It has to be recent, within the last couple weeks, because so much has changed in the mortgage world. Also, no more than 3 people can be in a property at one time. So sellers that occupy properties are asked to leave. An agent and 2 individuals is what the guideline specifically states are allowed in a property at one time. Masks, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant wipes must be utilized at all properties, whether vacant or occupied. So buyers that come unprepared, that do not have a mask, we may have some extras in our cars, and sellers might be providing them, but it's a good idea to bring your own. And if you forget, you may be denied entry, but sellers may require additional protective gear to be worn, such as booties and gloves, and we have to comply with what the seller's wishes are, especially if it's an occupied property. Any questions on that, don't hesitate to call one of our realtors. Who will be happy to explain all that.
Wow, that's a lot of rules.
Lots of rules. But, we're happy to be back. So,
thank God.
Yes, but there are guidelines in this,
Housing is essential.
Housing is essential.
And we're back.
So Jane Rissy, Director of the Greenhouse Project, how are you today?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. So we had a great discussion with you. We had a fabulous discussion with you last week. We talked about what the Greenhouse Project is. Can you just summarize once again for anybody that didn't tune in last week?
Yes, absolutely. So we're a nonprofit that provides education in Naog Park in Scranton called the Greenhouse Project, and our mission is to provide education around healthy communities. So we're basically teaching local residents and homeowners how to grow their own gardens, their own vegetables, cook their own food, and get out and enjoy local nature.
And it's a real greenhouse. You come from we had this talk off air. You really are in a greenhouse.
Oh, we sure are. It's a 30 by 90 foot greenhouse, and in the height of summer, it can be 110 and 20 degrees in there.
Wow, and you're growing all the little plants for everything.
Yes, we started in March by seed, growing vegetables for backyard gardening, and some years we do a lot more than vegetables. This year we just kept it to that, and we grow them out, and we sold them all through May, and we're pretty much closed up right now for that due to the heat and the pandemic.
So you grow them and then you sell them, but you're all done already. I think that's great.
Well, with that portion, yes, we are finished with that right now, and we enjoy it. And it's about 8 or 10 weeks for those kind of seedlings.
So this year, because of the pandemic, you did online. People would order online and then make arrangements for curbside pickup. Is that how it worked?
Yes, we did our best to do that. It was a learning curve, but it worked. I mean, we had over 300 families come and pick up vegetables and are going to be growing their own food. So we consider that very successful for a small organization to pull off, quickly, because it's not a business model or a charity that normally is doing things remotely like that online.
Right. So, but in a typical year, like with, not a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, what does someone just come into the greenhouse? Is that how it works?
Yes, that's the beauty of it. We would start even earlier sometimes, and we grow annuals, perennials, vegetables, fruit, all kinds of things. And the greenhouse would be full of all kinds of flowers and colors and things for your yard and home and garden. And they would normally walk through and, shop just like a regular nursery. And we also donate. I mean, we use that as a fundraiser to raise funds for our charity, but we also donate many, many plants to community gardens and individuals and education programs.
Okay, good stuff. Love it. And so can you tell me about CSA, which is Community-Sponsored Agriculture, and what that means to the Greenhouse Project? Yes.
In general, CSA is exactly what you said. It's community-sponsored or supported agriculture. And basically what that means is it's you as an individual or a homeowner would buy a share. They'd contact either a farm or an organization who's selling produce, and you get a weekly delivery of whatever is seasonal food. So, for example, probably right now you'd be getting greens delivered in your package and some radishes and maybe some early carrots and beets and things like that. So these are grown locally, and when what's beautiful about the model is you're supporting local agriculture and farms, and you're taking a little bit of a risk with the farmer, but they're getting paid ahead, and they're able to grow food for the season, and they know how many customers they have. It's different than a farmer's market model where they never know who's going to show up to buy their produce. If you have a rainy, cold day, maybe no customers come, and then this farmer is hurt. This really helps support both the farmers and, all of us who would purchase and eat the locally grown fresh food.
There is a waiting list now, or it's pretty much filled? Okay.
So at the Greenhouse Project, we partnered with the Overlook Farm and to provide CSA, and it filled up pretty quickly. There are other farms out there, and if you did a search, CSA or local farms, there are other opportunities out there to purchase a weekly share of local produce.
So you mentioned you pay it in advance, and then you there's different. You can get 9 to 11 vegetables a week, 5 to 7 vegetables a week, depending on the members of your household and how many vegetables you typically eat in a day or a week. But also the thing that piqued my interest and what I liked really about the program is for the price conscious is that you may pay the farmer $25, but you're actually getting $30 worth of vegetables.
Yes, and you're getting vegetables that are really fresh, literally just picked maybe that day or the day before, and there's really nowhere you can have that it's wonderful. Like the quality of the produce, and some of these farms are organic, so you're getting really fresh, really healthy produce full of nutrition.
And you're supporting the local farm.
Yes, jobs, agriculture, farms. And it's really important right now. I think we all are learning, with this recent pandemic, the food chain supply was broken up and things are missing. And this is a way to ensure that we always have some local food here. So I encourage people to support farmers markets and CSAs if they can.
So this is all available online. It's Overlook Farm. Is it FullersOverlook.org?
That's exactly it.
Is that where they're going?
Yes, the one that we're partnering with is Fuller's Overlook Farm, and we partner with them because they're also a nonprofit, and they also do a lot of donating to the community. And but there are other farms out there doing the same exact things, and you could order online or inquire. And if their CSAs are full, they are also providing food at farmers markets or at an online service too.
So they do it, and they sign up for this, and then they pick up the food, or is it delivered? They come and, I guess, as a consumer, I would come and pick it up somewhere. Is that how it works?
At the Greenhouse Project.
I pick it up at the Greenhouse,
yes.
Or there was different locations I saw in that sheet. Now, you know what concerns me is, well, I'm the shopper now because that's what I do, and I look at the stickers on the produce when I'm in the produce aisle, and I'm looking at everything. There's food from all over the world, and I got to tell you, some of it's looking a little shaky. And then I go over to the meat counter, and some of this stuff is processed, and it's in a vacuum sealed bag, and I don't like the looks of some of it.
Well, that's exactly why we're encouraging local agriculture. Our area was full of farmers, and still is. In Wayne County, there's a lot of areas. And the closer you could source your food, the safer, healthier, and more nutritious it will be. I'm with you on that. I really read labels, and I try to educate myself as to where the food's coming from, to know that it's supporting. I want my money to go where my heart is and my mouth is. I want to be healthy, and I want to support local.
Yeah, we had the guy from Garrity's on a couple of months ago, and he was telling us about some of the meat processing. They have, what is it, nitrogen infused? Is that what they said? Some of the meat was, oh my God, he was telling me things about the meat, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think the average consumer would not want to learn about, the corporate agriculture kind of things. That's why we're always just encouraging people, support local, buy local, get your food locally if you can, or at least from the United States.
Right, exactly. USA, we love USA products.
We love the local stuff. That's why,
and the local stuff.
That's what we do.
And that's what we do. So, Jane, if someone has a yard and they want to grow things and they, don't have a lot of space, what would you suggest they could do?
Yes, a lot of people have that issue. I have a very small front yard, but I love tomatoes so much, I managed to sneak in a cherry tomato right up against my railing every year, and I grow it there behind the other things like rhododendron, and I have cherry tomatoes all summer, which is fabulous. But in addition to that, you could do things like container gardening. You could have pots. I've been experimenting recently with putting certain things in pots and having actually better success than in a garden. Things like peppers, eggplants, lettuces, containers. You could have window boxes where you could put some vegetables and herbs in there, and you can create space in gardening that way. So that's one of my suggestions regarding food.
Yeah, I like that idea of potted plants because we have a nice patio that gets a lot of sun. I think it would work there instead of digging out a hole.
Yeah, you're talking about the potted plants, and we had spoken during the break about rabbits.
How do you keep them out?
Rabbits love to eat everything you plant.
Yes, it's called a rabbit-proof fence, and you have to dig it down about, I don't know if it's 2 feet, something like that.
Oh, my God.
Might be a foot. Mine's only in the ground by about a foot, and I've never had rabbit problems. but they are a problem. So the great thing for example, a homeowner or someone who doesn't want to dig up their yard, they can have containers on their porch or their deck. We would just advise to do a little research or contact us or the local Master Gardener Extension Office to inquire about what grows well in containers and what doesn't.
You're going to be sorry you said that.
That's
because
right.
you're going to hear from me. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
You could come to us for the vegetables. The rest of the stuff, I would suggest you go to the Extension Office.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. With us today is Jane Rissy, Greenhouse Director at the Greenhouse Project. How does someone get in touch with the Greenhouse Project, please?
Yes, well, we have a really active Facebook page and an Instagram page. Facebook has a lot of our events listed with dates. We also have a website called www.scrantongreenhouse.org, or you can email us at getghpinfo@gmail.com. So that's getghpinfo@gmail.com.
Thank you, Jane. Pat?
Yes, we have a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, mid-century home. It's at 1740 Ariel Street on East Mountain in Scranton for $259,000. This is a nice home. This home has gorgeous hardwood floors, and no detail has been overlooked from lighting to landscaping. It has a unique circular layout with an open floor plan. It's got a first floor office, a spacious living and dining room, a family room. It's got a sunroom that overlooks a flagstone patio. The kitchen has been remodeled. The basement's been remodeled, and the basement would be a perfect in-law suite. It's got a kitchen and everything down there. It has a 2-car garage, central AC, 5-zone heat, all of this on a nice private lot. That's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home with a 2-car garage at 1740 Ariel Street in Scranton for $259,000. And that's listed by Megan Pozamato of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Let's reimagine garages.
Now we're talking.
Okay. You're going to be outraged. I'm just going to prepare you right
don't
now. Okay. Formerly ignored. So
my garage is not ignored. My garage is loved.
I know. But formerly ignored by builders and homeowners. So that means they were never considered a necessity.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Garages can be much more than a place for, say, storing lawn equipment or antique cars.
Blasphemy.
All right. So forward-thinking builders, though, now, and this is the good news.
Okay.
So this will calm you down, are adding features that turn a cold, unappealing area into a multi-purpose room.
Oh, really? How do you do that?
Freeing of space is easy, so they're doing tandem garages. Do you want to talk about what tandem means for a garage?
It's one in front of the other.
Right. So they're longer instead of wider,
and
right?
then you'd need doors on each end so you could just drive out the other side.
I don't even know if I want to talk about this, but these feature hydraulic lifts. I don't think you need
I need a lift.
No, you don't.
I need several lifts.
And it doubles the parking space, so no family member's car is left out in the cold.
That's right. You can put one under the other.
All right. They're also popular with owners of collectible cars.
Really?
All right. So because these types of cars, antique cars, spend a lot of time in storage. Wouldn't you agree with that statement?
Yes, they do.
And then, so they're not used as often as you would like to, right?
As I would like to is the key word.
All right. So a garage with tandem parking also offers homebuyers spare room for other purposes. In addition to the traditional man cave, DIY shop, extra garage space can be turned into an entertainment or gaming area. What do you say about that?
I think I need some gaming area.
All right.
I like the way this is going.
No, but here, this is the best part. This is what I loved about it. You can add smart doors. Did you know about this?
We have smart lighting.
You can add smart. Yes, we do. I love that lighting. You can add smart doors to keep Amazon and Chewy orders off your front porch. Safe from porch pirates. Right? So we haven't had that problem, knock on wood, but there are people I know that have. That gives Amazon and Chewy remote access to your garage space. So they have a code.
No.
Yeah, I know. No. But people are doing it.
No.
I know.
No one comes in my garage.
All right. Oh, well, you're right. Yeah. But
Then the car gets a scratch. They say, how'd that happen? Say, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Well, they don't do that. But anyway, there's a camera and everything set up, but it's nice.
We need a trap door.
There's a remote webcam, but I thought that was a nifty idea.
I do. I love it. That's great.
All right. Okay. I guess we're not going to do a safe garage door or whatever they call it, right? Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm in with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
And I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker. And we're with Jane Rissy, Greenhouse Director of the Greenhouse Project. Hello.
Hello, Jackie.
So, we're having a great discussion about the Greenhouse Project and gardening. I'd like to talk to you about, we're all familiar with the perennial flowers, but there's also perennial vegetables, which is great. It's a neat idea because they come back year after year.
Yes, absolutely. If you're somewhat experienced, we would encourage you. I mean, either way, you could try it. But I am growing, for example, this year, asparagus. I planted them a couple years back, and when you grow asparagus, you have to wait maybe a year or two for them to get larger and well-established. But once you plant a perennial vegetable like that, you can have it for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years, and they just grow bigger and healthier.
What other items are considered perennial vegetables?
Yeah, for our zone, there aren't too many, but there are some. There are things like rhubarb, ramps, which are a cousin of the leek and garlic family. There are a lot of herbs and things like sorrel and chives, mint, sage, thyme. There's a lot of herbs. And then there are things like berries. You could also grow perennial blueberries and strawberries, raspberries. We all know our area is kind of famous for a lot of berries. I grew up in a neighborhood with delicious blackberries and raspberries growing wild. And then, of course, there's fruit trees, but that's bigger and a little more specialized.
Okay. Are there special things, are there things that people can do with just ordinary everyday items that maybe they don't think about? Are there any tips that you have to add to the soil?
Yeah, so when you're doing any kind of gardening, the soil is really key. It's just like it's the foundation of health. So, we always encourage a soil test, which are very affordable. But in addition to that, adding compost to your soil is almost always a great answer. And so, for example, some people collect their table scraps, things like eggshells and, your lettuce or your leftovers from your potatoes and things like that, your peelings, and you collect them and you could either add them directly to some gardens, it's a little bit riskier, or you could compost it and with grass clippings and leaves, and then it creates a really rich soil to add back in. Eggshells, for example, they don't break down as quickly, but they release calcium into the soil for plants. So it's trying to put nutrients back into the soil that you've taken out by growing or cutting your lawn, things like that.
Let's talk about companion gardening. What does that mean?
Oh, I love this. I love the topic of companion gardening, and I don't always remember which ones go with what, so we have a chart. We always just print a chart, and I have it near me when I'm going to plant or when we're advising people. You know, some, just like people, some plants just thrive and really help each other. They're collaborative and cooperative, and sometimes they actually stunt each other's growth. So, for example, you could plant basil, and it loves oregano and peppers and tomatoes. You could plant peppers, and peppers don't do well with beans, broccoli, and cauliflower. So I don't know, I just think it's really fun to read up on this and to follow this when you're going to go plant your garden. Another thing is with companion planting, almost all vegetable gardens do better with perennial herbs and flowers and things like that. They encourage pollinators. They encourage a healthier garden. Oftentimes the plants emit certain scents that will ward off bad bugs, so you'd have a healthier garden. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't think about it. I would probably just do my garden and just plant whatever I wanted to plant without giving any thought to whether they work together or not.
Exactly. A lot of people do. For example, corn and tomatoes, they don't like each other. They don't want to grow together.
Okay. Well, you're right. It does sound like people. So
it does. You know, they all exist in the garden, but they would rather stay a little further apart.
Okay, one thing before we end the show, how does one combat weeds?
Yes.
Oh, great question. You know, people can fight it with sprays and, you know, go out there digging and killing themselves. In my vegetable garden or even some of my flower gardens, I use mulch, a lot of mulch. In my vegetable garden, for mulch, I use ground up leaves or grass clippings. You could also use straw. So if you cover the surface of your garden after it's planted and established, if you covered it with a mulch on top, usually 2 to 3 inches, no sun hits the weed seeds, so they can't grow. And one more lazy trick I love is there's a very long, it's called a collinear hoe that you could walk around your garden with. It's a long-handled hoe, and you could literally just cut the tops off of the weeds while you're walking through your garden, so you're not down on your hands and knees fighting them. The earlier you do it in the year, the better. If the weeds get a good jump on you and your garden, you're in trouble.
Right. It could take everything over. And then you have a big mess on your hands, right?
Yes, exactly. And it makes it much harder. And they drop seeds then. You know, like everybody knows a dandelion, it grows and it forms a beautiful yellow flower, then the white puffy seed head. And then you now have 1,000 other dandelions growing.
Right. So, yeah. Keep on it, get on it early, and then you don't have those problems, right?
Yes, and mulch. I'm telling you, save your leaves and your grass clippings and your or even straw, not hay, and you could cover the top of your vegetable garden with that, and it keeps the weeds down. And that's why people put, you see in lawns colored mulch in people's beds, their flower beds.
Great stuff, Jane. Jane Rissy, Greenhouse Director at the Greenhouse Project. How does someone get in touch with the Greenhouse Project, please?
Facebook page, website, ScrantonGreenhouse.org is our website. You can email us. You'll find our contact information there. We are always looking for volunteers, and we look for donations, being we're a nonprofit, and we appreciate the support of the community and of this show.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We had a fabulous 2 weeks of discussion with you. We really appreciate your time, Jane.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great summer. Pat?
Yes, we have an outstanding buy level. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home at 20 Park Lane North in Mountaintop for $299,000. This is really, it's a must-see property. It's beautifully done. It's got many upgrades. It has an open floor concept. It has a large master bedroom with a gorgeous tiled master bath and a walk-in closet. The lower level family room has a bar. The kitchen, it's amazing. It has a large decks and a heated pool. It has a 2-car garage, a fenced-in yard, and plenty of beautiful landscaping. That's a beautiful bi-level 3-bedroom, 3-bath home at 20 Park Lane North in Mountaintop for $299,000, and that's listed by Stacy Granza of our office.
Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.